So our topic for today is about equilibrium of concurrent forces. Ano nga ba kapag sinabi natin equilibrium? So this means the body is in state of balance. Also means no resultant or no net force. It means also that the summation of horizontal and vertical forces is zero. We have discussed in our previous topic about resultant, and in this case, when the body is in equilibrium, there is no resultant, or the resultant is zero, or the summation of components is zero. And of course, the body is not accelerating. So all of these things means equilibrium. So let's take, for example, this problem. So we have to calculate the equilibrium force F3 needed for the given force system. Meaning, yung dalawang forces na to, para maging balance, we have to add another force, which is equilibrium force. So ano nga ba yung equilibrium force? Equilibrium force is the force needed to make the system in equilibrium. So the first step is we have to assign which is positive and which is negative. It depends sa inyo. Ano yung inyong what do you prefer? Kung ano yung magiging positive at negative. So we have, in this case, I assigned upward forces and forces that are going right as positive, and downward forces and forces that are going left as negative. So if we get the summation of horizontal forces Rx, then we have F1x plus F2x, since both of them are going right. So 100 cosine 30 degrees plus 80 Newton cosine 20 degrees. So that results to 161.78 Newton going right. Then if we add up yung ating vertical forces, then we have F1y, which is going up, kaya positive. Then minus F2y, so minus since this is going down. So 100 Newton sine 30 degrees minus 80 Newton sine 20 degrees. That will result to 22.64 Newton upward. So ano ba itong mga forces ito? So yung kinuha nating forces na yan yung components ng ating resultant force. Ibig sabihin, when we add their components, meron tayong magiging resultant. No? So ibig sabihin, hindi siya in a state of equilibrium. Now, we need to look for that force para maging equilibrium. So meaning, we have to oppose these forces. So therefore, to make the system in equilibrium, we need, so to oppose that, the Rx na 161.78 Newton going right. So we just have 161.78 Newton going left. And then for our Ry, we just have 22.64 Newton na downward. So these two forces ay component ng ating equilibrium force naman na tinatawag. So to get the force, no? So parang sa resultant lang din. So just have this formula na F3, square root ng F3 squared plus F3y squared. And okay, to solve that, to calculate, so the F3 is equal to 163.36 Newton. In other words, equilibrium force is actually the exact opposite of the resultant force. Yun lang yun. So you just have, baligtarin lang natin yung resultant force, baligtarin yung direction. So yun na rin yung ating equilibrium force. So for the angle of the equilibrium force, the same formula nung kinukuha natin with the resultant. So we have theta tangent inverse ng F3y over F3x. So to get that calculation, so we have theta is equal to 7.97 degrees. Therefore, our equilibrium force is 163.36 Newton located at third quadrant. We have to state that it is located at the third quadrant with angle 7.97 degrees from the negative x-axis. Now, kung ayaw na nating sabihin that this is located at the third quadrant, then we can say that 163.36 Newton located at an angle of 187.97 degrees. So, see. Remember, kapag nagko-compute, pag nagsusukat tayo ng angle, we started from the positive x-axis and then in a counterclockwise direction. Okay. So we can say in that our equilibrium force is going this way. So ito yung ating equilibrium force, 7.97 degrees, which magnitude na 163.36 Newton. In summary, to be in equilibrium, the system must have summation ng forces x natin ay kailangan maging 0. And then, summation ng forces y ay also 0. And then, the resultant should be 0. Of course, kasi 0 yung summation ng x, 0 yung summation ng forces y, therefore, 0 yung resultant.